You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
Now it's time to speak to our first guest, Andrew, from the Sheppey Fire Station in Sheerness here on the Isle of Sheppey. Andrew, thank you very much for speaking to us this evening.
Well, good evening, Daniel, and good evening to your listeners.
I was wondering perhaps if we could start off with a little bit of an introduction. You tell us a little bit about yourself at the station and what you do.
Well, my name's Andy, and I work for Kent Fire and Rescue. I work at the Sheerness Fire Station, which is down in the town. And I'm here today to promote our latest recruitment drive, first of all, for on-call firefighters for both Sheerness and the Eastchurch fire stations. It's quite an exciting time for Kent Fire and Rescue. I'm a whole-time firefighter based at Sheerness.
Right.
But I've got all the information that you need for your listeners for the on-call firefighters.
Well, I was wondering, could you tell us what exactly is an on-call firefighter?
Well, being an on-call firefighter, it's a great job where you can provide vital services to your local community. You can learn skills and gain qualifications. Your listeners might have heard of the term of a retained firefighter. But last year, Kent Fire and Rescue, we moved into a new contract. We moved staff onto on-call contracts. And this was part of Kent Fire and Rescue's move to improve services to ensure that we have the right people in the right place at the right time. And we're now in a position where we're able to look at our staffing to provide that optimum fire cover in the most efficient way. So the old retained section, in essence, no longer exists, but the on-call is pretty similar.
Right.
An on-call firefighter for the island must live within 5 minutes of either Sheerness or Eastchurch fire stations and be able to provide fixed hours where they can provide hours of cover to form a crew when they're called out into an emergency. A whole-time firefighter's job, you're based at the station all the time, but an on-call firefighter, you mainly respond from home. So, if you're still at home, in essence, you can still carry on what you're doing, but you must be able to drop what you're doing and respond to the station to attend a fire call. And that's got to be within 5 minutes. We usually look for cover between 30 to 60 hours a week for the on-call cover. Now, this may seem a lot, but don't forget this is an on-call basis. And you'll probably be at home doing your usual everyday to-day life. You might even have an understanding employer who would support you working the on-call system from work. But you must talk to your employer about this. An on-call firefighter, you'd also attend drill nights every week, and both Eastchurch and Sheppey, they're on a Tuesday evening where you get together and you train and you learn and you practice, ready for going out on real emergencies. It's quite a committed job, and you have to look at the hours that you can commit to see if you can make that commitment to Kent Fire and Rescue and being an on-call firefighter. But it is worth it.
Andy, what hours are you looking to cover?
On the in both Sheppey and Eastchurch fire stations, we've got a wide range of hours we're looking to cover to boost the existing crews. At Eastchurch fire station in particular, we're looking to cover all times except weekday nights. So the areas that you will need to consider, if you've got the time, are weekend days and nights, and then Monday to Friday daytimes. But at the Sheerness fire station, we're looking for cover at all times to boost the existing crews. Don't forget, you must live within 5 minutes of either fire station to make that commitment. So what kinds of person are we looking for? First of all, you must be over 18 years of age, but we are looking for all kinds of people. Anyone who meets our criteria can apply to become a firefighter, an on-call firefighter. You could be someone looking for a complete change to their day job, someone who wants an extra challenge. You might be a mum or dad looking for work to suit childcare, or someone working locally who needs a few extra shifts. Essentially, if you're physically fit and meet the selection criteria, which I'll go through that in a moment, it can also be found on our website. Why not consider applying?
So if someone is interested, Andy, how often can they expect to be called out?
It's really hard to put a definitive figure on that, but depending on the time of year and the demand for our resources, you could be called out relatively few times, or you could be out for a protracted amount of time.
Right.
But usually, if you're called out, you could be back home within an hour or so. That's the most shouts are relatively quick.
Right.
But there will be occasions where you will be required to work for longer periods. For instance, you might be required to take over from another crew if the job is going on for a long time. I mean, I can give you an example from this weekend, actually. I mean, I don't know whether your listeners are aware of everything that went on the island over the weekend with all the rain. I mean, it was a busy weekend for us. We had the local scenario of quite extensive flooding where the crews were involved, and we were out for a fair amount of time. But look at the satisfaction. Would you get satisfaction out of people helping people when in their time of need? I certainly do. On average, I suppose it's been worked out that people will be actually working on fire calls for about 8 hours a month. That's the cumulative total of what you might be expected to do. There is an example of a typical on-call firefighter's day's work on the website. So if your listeners want to visit www.kentfirejobs.info, they can take a look and get a little bit more detail. In essence, our work is unpredictable, so it will change from week to week and month to month. But the hours that you can provide and commit will stay the same.
Andy, could you tell us what is the criteria?
Well, you've got to be 18, as I said before. And because of the nature of the work, you've got to be fairly fit. Some of our work is quite strenuous, and you're going into an emergency situation and you've got to be able to perform that task safely. So as part of the selection process, you'll be required to undertake some physical tests which assess your level of fitness, your level of strength and your manual dexterity, as well as your level of confidence in simulated exercises. These tests reflect the operational practice, and actually you'll be able to look at some of these tests on the website where there's a video detailing what is expected. You've also got to have a fairly good level of literacy, because literacy is considered an essential skill for operational staff, so that they can read and understand the technical information given to enable to them perform their jobs safely in what ultimately could be quite a dangerous environment. All our standard operating procedures are based around level 2. So once you've looked at the website, you'll notice that part of the selection criteria is that you must obtain a level 2 literary certificate as proof as your current level. On the island, obviously, you can visit the Skills Plus Centre in the New Gateway in the High Street. Go in there and have a chat to the staff about obtaining this certificate, and you can perform the tests there. The staff in the gateway, they're very friendly, and they've had many dealings with Kent Fire and Rescue, and they do understand the requirements. Again, there's a lot more information contained within the web pages, and also some links to some sites which people can undertake some practice tests and even do some online tuition.
Have you got those addresses quickly for our listeners?
Well, you can go on to the Kent Fire and Rescue website, which is, if I take you to the direct pages, which is www.kentfirejobs.info. Kent Fire Jobs is all one word. This takes you directly to the website pages, to the job pages, sorry.
Andy, if people listening are interested, what would be their next step to get more information and find out more?
Well, I've already directed people to the website, which is the first port of call, really, where they need to look at all the information, look at all the criteria, and just make sure that the job is for them. The main website pages are where you find all the information that you need, including a downloadable application form, which you can either print off and fill out in black ink, or you can type your application. Make sure that before you spend the time completing your application that you do meet all the criteria detailed, such as the commitment, the response criteria, and understand the job that you're applying for. So that you're over 18, you hold your level 2 literary certificate or equivalent, and be committed to the continuous training. Contained on the website is a simple pre-application checklist. So look through this list and see if you can answer yes to all the questions before you apply. Now, this is an exciting opportunity, I must admit. So we are holding an open evening at both Sheerness fire stations and Eastchurch fire stations. They're going to be happening at the same time. And it's going to be held this coming Wednesday between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 o'clock in the evening. Now, these are drop-in sessions, and we aim to provide a rolling programme of 30-minute sessions to give all the people that are interested the exact information that they need. There's going to be staff on hand to answer any specific questions you might have. You might sort of just need a bit of confidence boosting, and just to make sure that it is for you. So we'll be able to give you all the information about an on-call firefighter's job. So that's Wednesday, 4 in the afternoon and 8 in the evening, and they should be good sessions to get you all the information you need. If you can't get to the sessions, or you don't have access to the internet, then go into the Gateway Centre in town, talk to the staff about using their computers to look up all the information and access the application form. Information is also available on Facebook and Twitter. If you know someone that could be interested, pass the word.
We are at the moment talking to Andy from the Sheppey Fire Station right here at BRFM.